And we're live. So my name's Matt and I've been living in Hong Kong for the last 4 years, and I'm just excited to take you to what I think is like the original Hong Kong. Before it became this massive like financial center of the world, it was a small fishing village, a number of small fishing villages, and we're really lucky today to be able to visit one of like the last of these untouched fishing villages, and this one has survived and uninterrupted by the rapid modernization of the city. This fishing village, it's called Lei Yue Mun, is a slice of the old Hong Kong. A 10-minute walk from the Yau Tong MTR. It's pretty close to the city. Now, this tour we're going to divide into 4 different sections. The first section is going to be this little harbour. Then we're going to walk through this area, and this area over here behind these buildings is actually a bazaar, a food bazaar. So they'll be selling seafood here. And then we're going to walk around the corner into the heart of the village, and then we'll end at one of the most beautifully placed temples in the whole of Hong Kong. What we're looking at now, this is a typhoon shelter, and in 2018 Hong Kong was hit by the worst typhoon or hurricane or cyclone in living memory, and to keep all the ships and boats safe, they would come into this dock at this typhoon shelter, and that would protect them from the massive waves that are generated during the hurricane. And that caused a lot of damage in Hong Kong. Roofs came off buildings. It was probably the worst, one of the worst storms in living memory. So we're going to walk through. I just want to show you, there's some houseboats here. Now, in Hong Kong, people live in really small apartments. Land is at a premium, but I've had the opportunity to live on a boat, and that was like a little bit of a, what can I say, it was like a loophole, because you're not on the land, there was a lot more space. And so just a really cool thing if you're able to live on a boat in Hong Kong. There are only a few boats that are authorized, houseboats that are authorized. If you've got that authorization, you get a little bit of a loophole here in Hong Kong. So this fishing village is untouched, but literally across the harbour across the typhoon shelter, right now they are building multiple skyscrapers, and I'll show you those in a second. Hey Dahlia, here they are. Believe it or not, this apartment block on the left hand side is just in the process of being completed. This one next door still in progress, and these skyscrapers in the front recently built. This is all very, very recent. Now, if you want to come to the village here, one of the most scenic ways is to take a ferry from Sai Wan Ho. We saw the ferry at the beginning of the tour, and this is where it will drop you off. There's a restaurant here. Now you'll see there's flowers in front of the restaurant, and the reason for that, for these bouquets, is because this is a new restaurant that is opening, and whenever a new restaurant opens or new business opens, everyone brings these bouquets to celebrate the beginning of a new business. So whenever you see those in Hong Kong, you know, okay, this is a brand new restaurant that's opening. So this is the Sam Kesen Ferry Pier. This is a great scenic way to get to this fishing village. Now, Sam Kesen is the name of the village, and Lei Yue Mun is the name of the district that we are in. But if you tell any Hong Konger if you say Sam Kasing, the immediate picture that will probably come into their minds is the idea of this seafood bazaar, because people love to come and have fresh seafood, and this is one of the places where you can do that. There's very few of these original fishing villages left, and I think this one's been saved just because of the location of it. The actual land that's available is not enough to construct a skyscraper, and so because of its location and the amount of land that is available, that's what saved it. Its position has saved it. If there was just a little bit more of a gap between those hills and mountains that we see in front of us and the land, maybe there would be more. The fishing village would have been covered in skyscrapers. But because the land is so narrow here, that's what's amazingly saved this fishing village. Now, probably when we get to the seafood market, it's going to be, it's not going to be open yet. Usually opens a little bit later in the day. And where the seafood market is, there's also a bunch of seafood restaurants. So, and each restaurant they will order from a specific seafood seller, and you can literally see the food that you're going to eat. It's alive, and then next thing it's on your plate. There's a very big emphasis on having fresh seafood here. A very big tradition of that. You can sometimes see that in the Western world, where you would go to like maybe a fancy seafood restaurant and you would see a lobster or crayfish in the tank. Here, it's not just the lobster or the crayfish, it's all the fish that you want. People want to have them as fresh as possible. I'm just going to stop at different points and just give you little postcard moments. And I would love to see if you want to, if you've taken some great postcards, I'd love to see them on my Facebook group. If you're not part of my Facebook group, you can join. All the links are on this YouTube channel, and I'd love to update the photo that I've used for this tour. So I'd love to see your photos. I think it says in Chinese, it says Lei Yue Mun, which translates to Carp Gate. And if we have a little bit of a closer look, you'll see there's a lot of carp motifs, and you're going to see a lot of the carp, this fish, all over. Hey Jacques, good to have you. So here we've got a giant carp leaping out of the water, and I will tell you all about what the meaning of the Carp Gate is in a bit. Okay, so let's go into the village of Sam Kasing. Now, there are no cars allowed in the village, and so people that live in the village, they get around either by walking or by bicycles, and that's why you're seeing a bunch of bicycles waiting over here. I'm just going to try and get you some amazing postcards. Every time I come here, I feel like it doesn't feel like the modern Hong Kong I know. It feels like I'm in some sort of like either I've gone back in time, or it doesn't feel real. But it's got a really great feeling about it. So we're going to be entering the seafood part. So Most of the stores are closed. You can see they've got wooden doors here. But if we're lucky, one or two may be open, and we'll get to see maybe fish that we've never seen before alive and swimming around. Here we've got one of the seafood restaurants. It's not open yet because really I've come here very early. It's about, I imagine, quarter past, just about 9:15 now, and these seafood shops will only be opening about 10 o'clock. Yeah, this is a very Hong Kong thing for everything to open late. So there you can see one of the restaurants, beautiful on the water, so you can sit, have your lunch or maybe your dinner and have this view. This is what I want to show you. Now it's not open now, it's the Shu Heng Yun Bakery. It's been open since 1968 and it's known for its Chinese style pastries. And so if you ever come here, and you come here a little bit later, you want to come here, try some of the local pastries. They're really good. You can have like almond biscuits. Almond biscuits are really nice. The texture is like sand, but it tastes of almonds, and they're really, really good. Here we're going to be able to see some more local food. I think they're going to have the Hong Kong version of like American beef jerky. Now this one is more of like a wet version, and it's served usually served warm, so a little bit different to the way that we are used to it. Oh, and here we're lucky enough, you can see some of the seafood. Here's some lobsters, and these are giant spider crabs in that tank, and then some different shellfish. Okay, so this is perched here atop a small rock stands a lighthouse that gives a stunning view over Victoria Harbour, and this is also a great place to come for sunsets. This is how the area gets its name. So Lei Yue Mun means carp gate, and what that carp gate is referring to is the narrow gap between Kowloon, where we are, and Hong Kong Island. So this area here is where you can find the narrowest gap between Hong Kong Island, and that's why it's called the Carp Gate or Lei Yue Mun. Hong Kong Island feels so close from here, like you could swim across. Now you're not allowed to swim across, except for every year when they have a competition to swim across, and that's because Victoria Harbour is a really, really busy harbour, and it is dangerous to be swimming across, and so it's actually illegal to swim across. Look at this, it looks so picturesque. There's so many postcard moments here. The park's going to open up. We're going to have the water on the one side, the buildings on the other, and we'll be able to see the temple. And here we're getting a nice closer look onto the only military museum in Hong Kong, the Museum of Coastal Defense. Strategically situated on a hill at the closest point between Hong Kong Island and Kowloon. So a very strategic position in the past. So of course, a fort was built there, and it's been used on and off as a fort for the last 600 years because of its amazing position. So day or night, you'll find fishermen coming here. And there we have probably the most picturesque location for a temple. That's Tin Hau Temple. Let's go a little bit closer. You'll notice when we walk past there's some messages written on the rocks. Good fortune. That's really common. I've seen it at other Tin Hau temples. Oh, hi Rose. Where there are boulders. Oh, this is beautiful. So peaceful here. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and tell you about the Tin Hau Temple. Okay, so Tin Hau Temple. Tin Hau is a sea goddess worshipped by fishermen, and there are over 100 Tin Hau temples here in Hong Kong. Now this one was built 200 years ago. Now it doesn't look like it's 200 years old, but it's been redeveloped over those 200 years, but the structure has been sitting here for the last 200 years. You can see cannons here. There's 2 of them, and these cannons are a reminder of the days when piracy was rampant in Hong Kong. And so, of course, because this was such a narrow part, it was the best place to defend. So on that side you had a fort to defend against pirates, and then on this side you had cannons as well. So a strategic location as well as a spiritual one. Thank you, and see you next time, and keep on adventuring, keep on exploring, and keep curious.